Welcome everyone. We're so excited to have you here tonight. This is an incredible, inspiring room full of people, especially you. My name is Becca Brown McKnight, and I use she, her pronouns. I am the city councilor for Burlington's Ward 6. Yay. Thanks. I'm joined tonight by my co-hosts, Councilor Sarah Carpenter and Councilor Joan Shannon. I know you're out there, as well as the Burlington Democrats. And I'm going to get us kicked off for some brief remarks from these amazing speakers here and tell you why we're here tonight. So last year, the thing that convinced me to run for office was seeing how really all across the city and the country, women and non-binary people have been working hard to open doors for decades. And when a door opened here in Burlington, right in front of me, I thought, well, shit. If I don't get up and walk through this door, then all that hard work will have gone to waste. And then about a month ago, Stacey Abrams came here to Burlington, and which was amazing if you saw it. She said, she kind of told us what the job is to do once you're through the door and on the other side of that threshold. She said, when I see somebody else trying to come in that door, I don't just open it, I tear it down off the hinges. So yeah, that is what we are here to do tonight. We are connecting with each other and connecting with the resources we need to start tearing down doors and maybe to start picking up a battering ram, because I think there might be some brick behind those doors that we need to knock down. So before I hand it off, I want to give a couple shout outs to all the amazing people we have in this crowd. And I'm going to ask you to bear with me and do a little raising your hands, okay? So if you are a current or former elected official, or you've ever run for office, raise your hand. So electeds and almost electeds, all right? Awesome. Yay. If you are a member of the Burlington Democrats, the Chittenden County Democrats, and thank you to both of those organizations for co-sponsoring, or the Vermont Democratic Party, raise your hand, Andy. Okay, everybody talk to Andy if you want to run for office in Burlington. And that is our party infrastructure. Thank you so much. And hi. If you are a member of a city board, a commission, or your school's PTO, Gretchen, Erin, raise your hand. Thank you. Woo! And lastly, if your name is Brooke Dietrich, raise your hand. Thank you, Brooke. This is Brooke. She is our amazing caucus assistant, and this whole thing was her idea, and she worked so hard to make it happen. So thank you. All right, awesome. Thank you for bearing with you, and also for everyone for your service. Look at how many people in this room are already stepping up to serve this community. It's amazing, and I hope everybody saw a few people you want to talk with tonight. So for our last housekeeping item, I want to encourage you all to donate to support this event. There are some QR codes scattered around the table. Get out your phones and do that. And to everybody who already has, which is many of you, thank you very much. And now it is my honor and real just absolute delight to introduce a woman that I first met at the age of 15 when she was my high school field hockey coach, Coach Sarah. She provided leadership then to a group of young people in a topsy-turvy time of our lives. Now we rely on her steadiness to uphold the very cornerstones of our democracy here in the state. So it's my pleasure to introduce Vermont Secretary of State, Sarah Copeland-Hanzas.
Thank you so much, Becca, and thank you, Brooke, for being the energy that has brought us all together here. You know, when I was first conceiving of this event, you know, months ago now, as we've been talking about this for quite some time, I was sort of envisioning this as being a celebration.
Still is. Still is. Yeah.
I was thinking of this as being a celebration of finally electing a woman to the highest office in the United States of America. I think many of us have been feeling a gut punch over this last week and a half since we woke up to the news. And my brain immediately went to the same place that it went 8 years ago when we woke up to this reality the first time around. And Jill was there. Keisha's been involved in this all along the way. The first questions we started asking is, what do we need to do here in Vermont to protect our people and to protect the vision of community and the health of our community that we know is important? And it's part of the reason why Vermont was one of the first states to begin the process of enshrining reproductive rights into our Constitution. Knowing that we needed to be thinking about our state being the backstop against whatever it is that this administration is going to throw at us inspired a lot of us to really start thinking and start working and start organizing. And it has brought us some really wonderful things. Reproductive liberty enshrined in the Constitution is just one of them. And when I woke up last Wednesday, truth be told, when I went to bed not Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, I knew that we were going to need to start to have this conversation again. I knew that we were going to need to start thinking of ways that we can protect the Vermont that we know and love, and we can protect our communities and our families and our loved ones, because we don't know what this next Trump administration is going to throw at us. And the reason I have been looking forward to this event so much is not so that we can come and cry together. I hope that you've all had a chance to cry. I haven't yet, but I'm going to get there. It's not really a good idea to cry on your way to a TV interview about an election in Vermont that showed record turnout and was, you know, from the Secretary of State's perspective, you know, an absolute victory. So I've had to keep that buckled down, but I'll get there, I swear to God. But as I've been contemplating sort of the lessons of November 5th, the lessons to me, the lessons to women in leadership, the lessons to all of us who see community and see our potential to be a better place. You know, it occurs to me that one of the hardest gut punches that came to me in the early morning hours on Wednesday was the notion that half of America doesn't believe in women leaders. And we've got some work to do, because I know that when women lead, we all succeed. And that's not just a platitude. That's not just something that I say to a group of mostly women because I know that you all feel that and want to believe that. This is something that I have seen borne out in my time in Montpelier. Before I became Secretary of State, I was in the House of Representatives for 18 years. And I saw the shift from when Vermont was mostly led by men who were speakers of the House, men as pro tem, men as chairs of committees. And during my time in the legislature, that has shifted to be a much more equal, in fact, in many cases, more dominated by women leaders. And the shift that I've seen is not one that has anything really to do with the gender of the person who's sitting in the chair. It has to do with the vision of the person who's sitting in the chair. And what I notice about women leaders, and what I hope you all notice about yourselves, because we're going to need you to be thinking about stepping in and stepping up and taking your energy and your vision out into the world. What I notice about women leaders is that women look at the whole problem. And women look at the whole solution. They look at the whole community and the whole person. And so if we want to get past an era of politics where it's me versus you, or us versus them, or I'm going to win because my idea is more right than your idea, we need to elect more women. Thank you, Connie. And I truly believe that we can and we will, and I truly believe that we will get through this moment, this gut punch that I've been feeling. You've probably been feeling it too since last Wednesday. We will get through this moment, and we will help other folks understand that when we elect more women, we elect people who are going to see all of the solutions, because they can see all of the problems and past their ego of needing to win, to be able to say, how can we win together? And so I'm not sure that I'm quite at the point where I have words of inspiration or like a directive of where I think we all need to put our energy, because this has been a really hard week. But I do know that more places in this country need to see women leaders. They need to see women leaders because we are listening, because we're taking in everybody's stories, because we're caring for and we understand the needs of the smallest among us, as well as the oldest among us. And so our world needs you. Our world, our nation needs you to get out there, to engage, to bring people into the dialogue on how we find solutions. And I am so heartened to see the energy in this group tonight, because I know that tomorrow's going to be a better day. Thank you. And now I get to the honor to introduce to you all our next speaker tonight. And she is someone who I have worked alongside and with and for over the last years. As Speaker of the House, she is leading Vermont to do so many things that embrace the whole community and find solutions for all of us. And so I am honored to introduce to you all, not that she needs an introduction because you all know her, this is Jill Krowinski, Vermont Speaker of the House.
Sarah, thank you for that warm and thoughtful introduction. And Becca, thank you for all your work in gathering us here today. This is so comforting to be here with all of you tonight, right? It's been a tough time since last week. And I think that for me, after an election night last year, hey, sweetie.
Microphone?
Yeah. When I think back to election night 2 years ago and how we were celebrating that every single town in Vermont had voted for Prop 5, for reproductive freedom, that we had made historic gains in the House, 104 seats, never happened before. And then to come to last Tuesday night where towns that had supported Prop 5 had voted for Trump, and that seats that we had picked up in this wave we had lost, and it was devastating and heartbreaking. But this is the time now where we learn our lessons from the campaign, and we come together and we find community and we fight back, and we get our plans together of what we're going to do to protect Vermont and continue the progress that we made going forward. When I think of women in leadership, I had the honor of serving as Gay Symington, former Speaker of the House, as her chief of staff. And I had the honor of working at Planned Parenthood of Northern New England for nearly 8 years doing work. And then Emerge Vermont, an incredible organization, started Senator Keisha Hinsdale and I and Madeline Kunin just getting the fight. And I just feel like we have seen these roller coaster ride of success and challenges. And I'm not going to say they're not failures, they're opportunities for us to come back and to figure out a path forward. And so while it feels tough right now, I'm seeing hope. And I'm seeing hope, and there are folks all around this room who play a role. You belong in this movement. You belong here in charting our course forward. We have so many amazing women in this room who have done awesome things. Joan Lennis, former state rep, chair of Emerge, amazing. Everyone plays a role as a mentor or a leader. I see Ray Garfano, state rep, child care. We have done amazing things to support increasing access to affordable child care in the state. That's huge. Families have access to child care that they didn't have before. And Angela, I see Mary Catherine. We have amazing women who are serving in the House, future emerging leaders taking on what I see is the bench to the next chairs or speaker. But also here tonight, there was a little bright, shiny moment in Chittenden County in which we actually had Wendy flip a seat from red to blue in Colchester. Wendy, congratulations, Wendy Kitchell. Where's Wendy? So, right, so hope is not lost. We are in this. We all belong here in this movement, and we're going to come together. We're going to make plans. We're going to make sure that we're opening opportunities for others to get involved. As Madeline Kunin says, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So we're going to all make chairs. Everyone has a chair, and we're all pulling it up to the table, and we're going to get to work. So again, it's just so wonderful to see all of you in this room. Christine Hallquist, thank you for all of your amazing leadership. Sometimes it takes one run, sometimes it takes one call to recruit someone to run for office. As you know, women need to be asked to run at least 6 times, so you've all been asked 6 times. Done. And we talk about Emerge and women supporting women and making sure that we have each other's backs. And I think one of my favorite memories with our next speaker was sitting at the kitchen table in Madeline Kunin's kitchen, just fired up about what we can do to support more women to run for office, because Madeline said, I don't want to be the only woman to have served as governor, and I'm sad that it's been 10 years and she's still in that spot. We still have opportunities in Vermont to elect women up and down the ticket. We were at the table having this discussion, and it's been an honor to serve with you, Keisha, and to be on all these journeys with you to help expand access to really awesome opportunities for women. So it's my honor to introduce Senator Keisha Hinsdale.
Thank you all. This is Mira, who I figured was going to come back. Do you want to say hi? Well, if there's one thing that I've learned since Mira's 19 months yesterday, it's that grandmas are the best. Yeah. Grandmas are amazing. My mother just moved to Vermont from California, Michelle. And it's been a dream, as you can probably imagine. And also, she was the first elected official. Are you going to eat the microphone? If Elaine wants that. My mother was the first elected official that I ever saw doing her job. She was the president of our food cooperative in Los Angeles. When I was this age. And, you know, I mean, she would take me to political meetings and do whatever she could, get me biographies of women who had changed the world. And then I remember I got elected to the legislature. I was 22, and I went back to speak at some of the schools that I had gone to. I went back to my elementary school, And my mother said she, wanted to come and see me speak, and she heard me talk about being the student body president in elementary school. I was the only girl running, and it was all guys, and I won. And we left, and she said, I actually didn't know you were student body president in elementary school. She was so busy working multiple jobs and taking care of 3 kids. And I looked back and I realized, she had inspired me. She had been there on the journey. But there was my vice principal who took me to dinner and drove me to school board meetings. Julia Brownlee was on that school board, who's now a member of Congress from California. And when I got elected to the State House, she wrote to me and said, I always knew you were going to be another elected official after 5th grade. Thank you for the pen. And so it just reminded me that it is a village of women, that it takes all of us. And we're all going to invoke Madeline, and she's still with us. She sends her love and her best, and I'm sure she's called half of us to see what we're all going to do next. But she always says, don't just bring a casserole when someone dies, bring a casserole when they're running for office. I still have a pen in my hand. So that's the work ahead is, when I look at the results from 2 weeks, has it been 2 weeks? No, 2 weeks ago I was on the National Mall watching once and future Vice President and President, hopefully Kamala Harris, speak in DC with Mira, who, by the way, was also going up to everyone and getting picked up and waving and, just inspiring everyone. But when we found out these election results, all I could think was, people are telling us that they're socially liberal, but they're financially hurting. I mean, this was just, people saying, hey, I need you to empathize a little bit more with me, especially, what we saw in Vermont. And it breaks my heart because, I grew up with a single mom who was working multiple jobs. We all try to be strong and brave and not complain about everything we're juggling. And voters, all voters wanted was just to see that we get their reality, that they're working multiple jobs, that they don't get enough time with their kids, that they can't afford childcare. So I'm actually really hopeful because that's the work we do. We can just do it a little louder. We're just gonna get back into the State House. We're gonna build an economy that works for everybody. And we're gonna make sure that they know we're working for them. We're gonna go to their communities and tell that story. We're gonna go into their businesses like Vermont Home and Garden, which is where I get all my gifts. If you see my Costco card, or if this is your credit card of some sort, just come find me. I promise, are you gonna donate to this organization? Everyone donate, and donate to our wonderful women city councilors. Thank you, Bean. But yeah, I'll just say, before this gets out of hand, that it has been such a privilege to have my 18, 19-month-old and now my 2-month-old with me on this journey in the State House. It's only made possible by a lot of other women and a few good men and all kinds of folks in the building who have, watched her in the Senate president's office or taken her, to go run around the State House lawn, or my mom, who is doing yeoman's work. But that is something that we need to see more of. We just need to show people that we're trying to balance things, that we understand their reality, and that we're here to work for them. And I'll just end by saying, a coupon, great, good job. I'll just end by saying I gave a talk this morning at Hunt Middle School. It was the Ruby Bridges walk. This is the 63rd anniversary, I believe, of Ruby Bridges' effort to go to school in all-white school and integrate in New Orleans. And the students organized a really beautiful walk. We walked to the elementary school and saw the kids, and we walked back. And I was talking about, now imagine there weren't people waving and honking and saying, good job. There were people shouting things at you, and now imagine you were walking by yourself, not with your friends. And now imagine you were younger than the kids at the elementary school that we said hi to. And that's what Ruby Bridges went through to go to school. So we've done hard things, Ruby Bridges walked so that we could run. And Thank you. Wow, we got a whole purse now. And you know, it's really up to us to carry the torch and continue the work. And I'll say what I said to the kids, which is, you know, a vision that is really valuable to me, which is the vision of the sequoia tree. And I know that's a Californian tree and not a Vermont tree. And we're really used to trees in Vermont that kind of grab all the ground they can and they shoot straight down, and you know, that's how they grow. But I asked the students and they knew what a sequoia tree was. It is the largest living thing on earth. They grow on land, I should say, and they grow to be, you know, 300 feet tall. They touch the heavens. They're so wide around. And you will never find one alone. You will never find one alone because their roots don't grow down. Their roots grow out. And they grab each other. And that's how they grow. And so the most majestic, tallest, largest living thing on earth can't do it by itself. It needs a community. And that's what we all need right now. And that's who we are and what we are. And we just need to remember that and rely on each other as we rebuild our democracy and prepare for what's to come. So thank you all so much for being here. I have so many cards in my hand, like I just apologize whoever this is. I have the privilege of passing the microphone to Elaine Haney, who is our fourth executive director of Emerge Vermont, and one who has absolutely taken it to the next level in terms of programming and its reach. We almost had an Emerge President of the United States of America, but you know, Emerge is making waves all over the country and especially here in Vermont. And as we rebuild our majorities in the legislature, as we bring more women back, Democratic women back into the legislature, I know that work will be led largely by Elaine Haney. So I'm proud to introduce her now.
I'll pick those up later. I was astonished to see that in the lineup for tonight that I was after our Secretary of State, our Speaker of the House, and Senator Hinsdale. And then I realized I'm here to back cleanup. My job tonight is to make sure you are aware that you belong at the tables of leadership. So one of my very favorite heroes is the late Shirley Chisholm, who was the first Black woman to run for president, and I believe the first Black woman to be elected to Congress. Is that correct? She's up there. So she had a saying: if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Every one of you has a folding chair. Every one of you also has a planning commission, and you belong on it. Every one of you has a library board, and you belong on it. A parent-teacher organization, a school board, a select board, a board of trustees, a city council. You can start small, even though local government isn't small. And I can tell you that only about a third of select board members are women in Vermont. And almost all the city clerks and town clerks are women. It's interesting how if you add the word clerk, suddenly it's a woman's job. But if you add the name of elected official councilor, it's a man's job. We belong in all the jobs. And so what I want to do right now is ask if anybody here is an Emerge alum, raise your hands. And if you've ever taken a training by Emerge, please raise your hands. If you're not an alum, but you've taken trainings, there's more of you. Yeah. So, and we have an Emerge alum, an Emerge former director, and an Emerge co-founder here. We are everywhere in Vermont. We have moved the Vermont legislature to 45% women, the highest it has ever been, and hopefully we'll go higher than that in the near future. So my charge to you is that wherever you think you might fit, go for it. You need to be there. We need your voice at that table. Your kids need to see you at the table. My kids knew that every Wednesday night was mommy meeting night. They just knew. And like, we all have that experience. We're all volunteers, and you know that you can also make more of a difference if you are an elected official at a table, if you are an appointed official, than if you're a volunteer in the community. You get more power, you bring it with you to the table, and then you bring that power to the next table while you bring someone with you to fill your space. So it's just a kind of circle of life kind of thing. My point is, you belong at the table. And if you are interested in learning how to get there and learning how to campaign and run really great races that make you victorious in the end, let me know, because I have business cards, I have QR codes. I'll be visiting all of you through the course of the evening. Our application for our training is actually open till tomorrow, but the weekend is here and I can be flexible. So, and I think there's at least 2 applicants in the audience tonight, too. Yeah. So, like, Emerge Women Make Change. All women make change. Emerge Women are especially equipped to do it. And I encourage you to think about what's next in your life. What is the next service that you can provide to your community that meets your calling, that fills your cup, and does the things that you want to change in the world? Just go do it because you belong there. Thank you.
Wow, well, thank you so much, everyone. That was just, I mean, I can't believe I'm standing up here with these women. I guess I'm one of you now. Thank you, everyone. I don't have a glass or I'd raise a toast, but let's do a, pretend toast to the future and have a great night and enjoy yourselves. Thanks for being here. Take care.